It's always a nice way to say I love you. And when Mother's Day nears, the flower business blooms. Should investors beware of thorns? Or can a little flower power give your portfolio a green thumb?
You know what's doing an incredible job of hanging in there in a heinous market? 1-800-Flowers. Yeah, the telephone and web-based flower retailer with a stock that's actually been a phenomenal performer over the past decade. And that rally has gone into overdrive lately with the stock, get this, it's nearly 70% this year, about 67%. Just last week, 1-800-Flowers reported a terrific top and bottom line beat. Management raising their full-year guidance, and the stock had yet another leg higher. So can it keep climbing? Let's check in with Chris McCann. He's the CEO of 1-800-Flowers to learn more about how his company's doing and how it's transformed into an omni-channel powerhouse. Mr. McCann, welcome to Mad Money. How are you?
Hey, Jim,
good to see you, Chris.
Good to see
now,
you.
we had your brother on when the show first started. And it was actually, by the way, it was Mother's Day. And what we were talking about were flowers. I'm wondering whether I'm not misrepresenting the company because now people do more everyday giving, even though it is on the eve of Mother's Day, right?
Yeah, everyday gifting really drives the engine of our business. It's the birthdays, the anniversaries, get well, just because. Sympathy is a big occasion for us, certainly on the flowers side of the business, but also on our gourmet food side of the business as well.
I mean, what, so people would send baskets to people?
Yeah,
like,
to express their condolences.
Right.
Our vision is to inspire more human expression, connection, and celebration for all of life's occasions, and certainly sympathy is an important one.
I think it is important to point out that you guys started out as a flower shop. That's a long range from the different holidays and bereavement, right?
It is. It's a long way, but
one store.
We started with one store, but really getting to know the customers and how we can serve our customers differently. And that's what shaped us down our strategy of expanding the product line as we've done into the whole gourmet food sector.
And it's as personalized as it was when you first started now.
It is. We find new ways of using technology to make the experience personal, just like it was when we were in that one store on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. So especially in lately, we've innovated with embracing conversational commerce, where we can really use AI capabilities, big data, to make the experience more and more personalized.
Okay, so tell me how that would work, because I always am I buy flowers for my wife for Mother's Day, but there's a lot of days that I'd like to just send my daughter, who lives far away. She lives next to your Harry and David store in Bedford. I'd like to send her something just because I miss her. What would I do that's artificial intelligence that would help me?
So you could go on, you could interact, and we have different capabilities. You could go on and interact with Gwen, who's an artificial gift concierge. And we've launched Gwen about 3 years ago, and we keep reiterating.
Is that with live person? Who do you use?
No, we developed it ourselves.
Yourselves, okay.
And it's, we have an acronym that we use internally for innovation called ELAC. Engage early, learn, adapt, commercialize. So we're doing that in the field of AI, still early, but in conversational commerce, whether we're using voice computing, chat bots on Facebook Messenger. In fact, we're the only company I know of that has applications, either chat or voice applications, on Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Samsung, and Google. The 5 major platforms out there.
All right, that's
so
pretty
we're trying to keep on that leading edge.
All right, so now I've got to ask about, the president put a tariff on tomatoes in Mexico. I happen to live a house next to where there's just miles of Costco tomatoes. They're great. What would happen if he did flowers? Don't you have some of your flowers in South America and in Central America?
Sure. Most of the product comes from South America, Colombia, Ecuador. A lot is grown domestically, though, especially in the California region. And that's increased over the last 10 years or so. So we're glad to see that. But as we look at the tariffs, discussions that are going on, especially the tariffs with China. Right. Fortunately, they've impacted our company very little. Okay. Now, if they go from 10 to 25%, it'll impact more. But that's our job to mitigate that and figure out ways to mitigate that, and we will. My bigger concern, though, is what that does to the consumer and consumer confidence as all of this trade war talks go on and on.
Now, you do have a seasonal period of where there's picking, where you have actual migrant workers, is it?
Sure.
And that's usually been a bump to your expenses, but actually your expense control this year's been rather amazing.
Yeah, expense control, especially in our gourmet food business and our fiscal Q2, which is calendar Q4, which was tremendous. Not so much on the labor side, but really how we manage the transportation cost. In the past year or two, transportation costs caught everybody by surprise. But we were able to actually lower our per unit shipping costs this past holiday season. We were thrilled with that, and we see that continuing.
We're huge believers in small to medium-sized business and companies that can do that. we're not anti-Amazon, but there is a tension between the two. How do you guys help small and medium-sized business?
Well, first of all, if you look at the floral side of the business, we work with BloomNet. It's a network of about 5,000 to 6,000 florists around the country who give us great capabilities, creativity, artistry, delivery capability, same-day delivery capability. And then our job is to develop products and services that we sell to them to make them more competitive in their local markets.
And let's just finish with Mother's Day. It is a big day. What should people do? They have to get their orders in earlier. You guys able to get them in late for the thoughtless people out there?
Well, for those thoughtless people, we can take care of them, but I don't really encourage that. We can take probably orders right up until Sunday morning if needed. But really, if it's Mother's Day, you don't want to wait. You know what mother's guilt can do to you. We can take care of it, and we can take care of it easily.
All right, should my kids be looking for something for Father's Day from me?
I think Father's Day is something for you from Harry and David. Stockyard Steaks. Perfect, Jim.
Well, you guys
have
have just done a remarkable job, and I know you bought Harry and David out of bankruptcy in 2014. That was a brilliant, brilliant purchase. You made many good moves. That's Chris McCann, 1-800-FLOWER CEO, FLWS, one of the best performers in the market. Mad Money's back into the break. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.